Jordan Peterson is a clinical psychologist and a professor at the University of Toronto, among other things. He is a quite famous figure, and if you've never heard of him before, I suggest you type in his name on YouTube and spend the next years of your life watching the never-ending amount of videos that will pop up for you. In an attempt to honor the name of this channel, I'm doing this applied series about Jordan Peterson. I know quite a lot about JP. I guess I could call him JP now that we're homies, right?
No! What the hell are you doing?
I essentially listened to all his lectures and read his most famous book, 12 Rules of Life. I'm a huge fan of this guy and the concepts he points out to.
You're fucking a white male!
His thought isn't original per se. Its originality lays in the combination that he managed to gather along his path and put forward to all of us. From psychology to religion to science to philosophy, this guy is obviously an avid reader and a big intellectual. So what I'm trying to do is dissect his thoughts and main concepts in order to see how you can actually apply them. You got it. Jordan Peterson lays facts in quite an abstract way. Here, we do what we do best, that is, derive a fucking ought from a fucking is. First, let's lay the facts. Jordan Peterson keeps talking about this agoraphobia thing.
Well, that's a rough thing to have, agoraphobia.
So like if you're agoraphobic and you can't get on an elevator.
For someone who has no idea where Jordan Peterson is heading with his thoughts, this is quite confusing. Okay, so let's explain the crap out of this. He goes on this tangent, talking about agoraphobia every single time. He does that to teach us about bravery. Alright, let me break this out for you. Agoraphobia is this mental disease that basically stops you from going out of your house because you're scared shitless from the supermarket and elevators, among other things. Okay, great. The way you treat this disease is like this. You expose your patients to pictures of elevators. Once they're comfortable with that, you take them see an elevator. Then you actually put them in an elevator. And there you got it. Your patients can actually ride an elevator. Hooray! Now listen to this next part very carefully. When you manage to ride an elevator eventually, not only do you become able to do that, but also do a lot of other things, like go to the supermarket or drive a car, etc. etc. So boom! This exposure treatment does not make you immune to elevator phobia, but it actually makes you braver across all domains of action. Damn! Let that sink in. And think of the implications of that for you. I'll tell you some implications. One of them is that if you work out the courage to go to that party you're anxious about, you'll probably be able to work out the courage to run a 5K. Courage, or bravery, increases across all the domains of life. All of them. That's probably why working out gives you such confidence. Here, listen to Joe Rogan make that point.
Right? 100%. And one of the things that I've found over the last few years in particular, I've done it in the past, but I did it because they were just goals that I was pursuing on the side, as well as doing stand-up and all the other things that I do in my life. But I've found that things that are completely unrelated to my career that are difficult enhance what I do.
That gets us to the second part, the odds. I will give you 3 pieces of advice that directly come out of this fact. See, the beautiful thing about facts is that you don't need to believe in them, yourself, or me. They're out there doing their thing. I don't need to have accomplished a shit ton in my life either to be able to give you this piece of advice. I just need to use common sense. The first advice would be physical exercise. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. It doesn't matter if you enjoy it or not. It doesn't matter if it's relevant to your career or not. Beyond the health benefits of physical exercise, it's necessary for you to be braver. Simply that. It's the most effective way for you to work up courage for things. Think about it under the lens of what I just laid out for you. When you run a marathon, not only do you become able to run a marathon, but you translate that courage you gain from that experience to other domains of life. And since running a marathon is so goddamn hard, that courage you build from that is enormous. So get on it. Go challenge yourself in workouts. My second piece of advice is travel alone. It's fucking scary to travel alone. And if you're agoraphobic, you absolutely don't want to travel alone. But you have to do it. Once you get lost in a completely foreign country, very few things scare you anymore. You don't discover that the world isn't a scary place. Quite the contrary. You actually find out that it's super shady out there. But you also discover that you are tough as fuck, and that's what matters. My third piece of advice is, get embarrassed. It's probably what we fear the most. Our social network is very important to us. Now this third piece of advice isn't very specific, but still, the idea is clear to me. Go do an open mic stand up and bomb, go talk to the opposite sex and get rejected among your peers, go sing in a karaoke and get booed. Do this over and over again, and it should land some results. Again, I'm not talking from experience here, my experience is valueless. I'm just laying out some implications of this specific Jordan Peterson concept. And these, ladies and gentlemen, were my odds for today's Is. I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you soon on my channel. Don't forget to always derive a fucking ought from a fucking is.